this episode of The Dog Show, I speak with Millie Hooper, the founder of Sydney-based dog business Hooper Ruff. So Hooper Ruff creates a range of unique and naturally produced dog products, such as dog wash, soap, and homemade treats. Millie's mission with Hooper Ruff is to increase awareness among dog owners, such as you and I, about the ingredients that go into the products that we buy, the good, the bad, and the potentially harmful. She shares some great tips in the interview about what you can do when you're looking for products, how to avoid harmful products, and how to choose the ones which will benefit your dog's health. I certainly learned a lot from the interview, and I hope you do too. About the ingredients in dog products that you think is so important to owners?
I think it's something that we're just not aware of, and I think that there are so many things that we should be. I don't know if you know this, but the skin is actually the largest organ on a dog. So when you take into consideration that it's also quite absorbent, and it's the way that it's, all their hair follicles and everything obviously linked to their skin, and that's got a cycle on its own, just like our own hair and skin and the products that we use. Dogs are the same. So understanding what's important to go on their skin and what's absorbing into their skin will actually save you a lot of money on vet bills. And I just don't think that it's a regulated industry. I don't feel that we're getting enough education on it, and it's something I'm really big about. Starting Hooper Ruff is actually just educating people on that, not trying to flog a product.
Yeah.
So to really break it down so everyone can understand, I feel that it can get so technical, and to just really keep it basic and simple when you're shopping, there's some really great things that you should look out for. If you can't pronounce a name, just don't buy it. Yeah. That's that simple. So I find that when I don't know what things are, I'm like, maybe it will be okay. And then I look at how pretty the packaging is and how much it is, and then I sort of weigh up my option. It's very much the same with dog products. So yeah, if you can't pronounce it, just don't buy it. Like, look for natural ingredients. Look for things that you know what they are. One thing that is really important is actually using a wash that's pH balanced for dogs. So dogs are at about a 6.5, a 7.5, and humans are around a 5.5. So there is a difference. So that's
Sorry,
why...
you kind of lost me there. But
okay, so what that
I'm not a scientist, but pH is
important.
pH is important.
Yeah.
And if I can't pronounce it, don't buy it.
Yes.
It's funny because if I'm looking at any product, dog product, human product, I have this probably false trust in the fact that there would be regulations, and that because the product looks nice and it looks like it's a sophisticated company, then it's going to be healthy, right? But that's not the case.
Yeah, I have found, like, I don't know if you had a look, if there was a case a few years ago with Johnson & Johnson, and they were putting something in that was not very good in their products, and it was actually something that was a cancer-causing agent.
Right.
And, they had a huge recall, and it was actually quite large. So these are brands that you and I use, and people use on, their babies, and we have this, like, huge brand trust. I'm not saying that this was something that happened in the dog world. I'm saying that in such a regulated industry like for humans, that this stuff still happens. And then in the dog world, there's just no real regulations, and a lot of these elements or chemicals are slipping into these products, and they're allowed to, and it's okay. No one's really kicking up a stink, and I really do think that as pet owners integrate their dog more into their lifestyle and it becomes more of a family member, that we're really going to start caring what goes on them. And we're also going to want to just be bringing down those vet bills as well.
Apart from the deadly things, the cancers and things, are there other symptoms that owners might notice which are the cause of some of these ingredients?
Yes. So I'm sure there'll be a few listeners that have unfortunately had to go to the vets over some of this stuff. So dogs can actually have allergic reactions to some of these chemicals, especially if they're in higher volumes in dog wash. And sometimes it can actually be really hard for you to identify that. So some things can bring on an allergic reaction. Some things can actually just make your dog really, really sick. So they're not feeling well, they're dizzy, they're having sort of more dehydrated symptoms, but they're not really dehydrated, they're off their food. Some things can actually, some of these ingredients, because they're being absorbed into the skin as a wash, they can actually long-term affect their organs as well. So there's things in there that just have a short-term side effect, but also some really long-term issues as well. And of course, we do a lot more research on humans in that area. However, if we're putting these products on our dogs, they're going to have the same side effects as well long term. So we don't want to be spending more time at the vets, especially when they get older. So yeah, investing and really looking into what's on these products is important.
I know it all too well. I have a French bulldog, and we're regularly at the vet for skin issues and allergies and things like that. Interesting. This is probably more of a personal question. How often should you be washing your dog?
So this is a really funny one, and it's a tricky one because everyone has an opinion, right? It depends on I base it off, I'm a bit odd. I base it off what's best for your lifestyle and your dog's lifestyle, and no one knows your dog better than you do, which is why everyone has an opinion. So you know when they're ready for a bath, just like you would if you have a child. You know when they're ready for a bath. I feel the same about a dog. You are with this dog as part of your house. You know when to bath it, where the best time is to bath it, especially when they're getting a bit pong-whiffy. I mean, that's the big indicator, right?
Yeah.
Apartment living has seen the rise, and smaller inner suburb living as well. So, smaller confined spaces, you're looking at subdivided townhouses and things like that. You're finding that people are washing their dogs more regularly because they're in the house a lot more. Apartment living is seeing the rise of people wash their dogs more regularly because they just don't want their really expensive furniture to smell terrible.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. So you're going to see the rise of more washing. But what that means is that we've got to now create products that aren't going to be damaging the dog's skin as much, that you're still getting a really good wash and you're removing that element, but they're still able to have what they need for their skin and their fur or their coat. So we need to look into formulas that are going to suit our lifestyles, basically.
Okay. We've spoken a bit about bad ingredients, what to watch out for. What are some of the good ingredients that go into products? And one thing I found on your website, which I thought was amazing, it was transparent. It was also really helpful for me as a dog owner, was the list of ingredients that you use in your products. What ingredients are you using, and should people look out for that are actually beneficial to their dogs?
Yes. So anything that you know what it is on a bottle is a really good indicator that it's good for your dog.
Okay. So
coconut oil is really good. Any oils really that you know are in your skincare products, like olive oil, even like palm oil, obviously sourced properly. Things like that are going to be good for your skin in the right formulas. So that's a big green light. For me personally, I put things in the products and obviously explain them on my website. So sodium chloride is a fancy word for salt. So salt in the right quantities will actually get rid of dead skin cells. And so when we're talking about that gentle wash that we want to give the dog because we're bathing them a little bit more regularly now, that's something to look out for. And also salt is also one of those wonderful ingredients that can actually thicken a product. So when you're using a lot of those coconut oils and those natural ingredients, which we're all going, oh, this is really good and I want to put this on my dog because I know it's going to have good benefits, when you want the recipe to be a little bit thicker, otherwise you're going to think when you're buying it that you're not getting your money, like your value for money. Okay. Because you're seeing that it's a bit too runny like most oils are, right? So salt's one of those really good things to sort of thicken a product, to give it that liquid soap consistency. Another one that I really like is bicarbonate soda. So
It goes in cakes, doesn't it?
yeah, it does. So bicarb is one of those things that sit in the kitchen. I'm sure it's in everyone's pantry, and no one really knows what to do with it. But mum or dad had it at home, and your grandma definitely does. So you've got to have it too.
Okay.
But it has so many purposes. It can actually be used as a cleaner. People actually dilute it and drink it. So more for internal gut health and things like that. It's used in cooking and baking. It's also a really good, not just like a cleaning agent around the house, but also it can be used in shampoos and conditioners as well. So I use it. I use a little bit of it in my products, basically to stabilize the product, bring down the pH level, because we talked about dogs needing a certain range to have healthy skin. And so it does that, but it also just is a beautiful cleaning agent, and it's really gentle and mild, and I love that it does that for dogs. It also is a good little flea and tick, anti-flea and tick ingredient as well, so I don't love it. So it's one of those things that if you're adding it in, it just gives you a little bit of a boost when they're running through the grass and things like that. So it's one of those things that is just, for me, an ingredient that is in all our pantries that we know and has
great benefits.
Yeah.
Okay. So bicarb soda.
Yeah.
Look out for salt as well.
Yeah.
And oils, essential oils, or coconut oil, olive oil, those types of things.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to see any more ingredients that are in your products, you can just check out the website.
Yeah, I think looking at brands that are really upfront about their ingredients and will tell you why they're natural and how is really important. So don't be afraid to pick up another bottle when you're shopping and actually turn it over and go, well, I'm not too sure about that. I'm just going to pick something else up and that I feel a bit more comfortable with, and have the idea of like, if would you use it. So when you're buying, just think about if you'd use it. So what ingredients are you looking for, and then just to change it over to your dog. What characteristics are you looking for?
So based on what we've spoken about here, I think the way I would go about it, number one, I'd read the ingredients that you're using on your website, because you're obviously very deliberate about that. But if I'm just shopping in a pet shop or whatever, or online, if I don't understand what it is, I'm probably going to Google it.
Yes.
to try and understand more about it. And I'm going to look out for some of the ingredients that I do recognise, such as your salts and the olive oils and other oils, which sound like they're beneficial.
Yes. So another one to touch on with dog products, and this one's a really big one because it can actually make your dog quite sick, is fragrances. So scents. So so essential oils are obviously derived from plants and flowers and leaves and extracts from those things. They can also be created synthetically. So a lot of dog products are actually using synthetic scents or fragrances. So when it says the word fragrance, and this is something that I've been using interchangeably, and I shouldn't, because I buy really expensive essential oils. And this is just an education piece, right? Like, how did I know that a fragrance didn't mean fragrance? It's actually a word for a whole bunch of blended products that you don't know what's in it.
So it's kind of like an artificial fragrance.
I didn't know that, and so I was using it interchangeably.
It does sound like a natural term, doesn't it?
And it really does. And I thought it was it's easy how such innocent stuff, in marketing especially, can get so lost. So these dog products aren't using essential oils because they are expensive, and you have to stabilize the formula better, and they can be really deadly for your dog. They can actually make your dog really crook. Especially if they're not in the right dosages, and you just don't know the breakdown and the cosmetic makeup of them either.
Okay.
So that's a worry.
Yeah, definitely. Good to know, though. Good to know. Is there any mistakes you see dog owners make? I guess just using cheaper products which have all of those ingredients that you're talking about.
This one really grinds my gears. Are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Because there's one thing I'm going to mention.
Yeah.
Out of a long list. Cat and dog wash.
Oh, okay. combo wash.
Oh, it really irritates me.
I wouldn't buy anything with a cat on it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Being
if
dog
I see
lovers.
a cat, I'm wide away from it.
It really irritates me. It's just marketing at its best, and it just, like I said, it just really grinds my gears. Cats are completely different animals to dogs. Like, how can we get this so wrong? Yet people are buying it and they're thinking they can use it on both animals. Felines have a completely different makeup when it comes to their own skincare needs compared to what dogs do. So what is it in the product that they're trying to say is actually beneficial for both? Because there's no formula that's actually going to work for both. They've both got different needs. Cats are definitely really susceptible to some ingredients that could make them quite sick and will end them up at the vet, whereas those ingredients might be fine for a dog, and vice versa. Like, your dog could actually end up at the vet and your cat will be fine from using that wash. But there are just so many things that each animal can't have or use or have as a essential oil or a scent. So some things that will be fine for a dog will actually make a cat really sick. Okay.
So steer clear of cats and
dog
cat products.
So if you've got a dog, don't buy anything to do with cats, and vice versa. Just stick to your animal category. But anything that's a combo, I am really against it. That's where I draw a line in the sand, and I'm really vocal about it. Because it's just opening a can of worms. You're just really opening the door.
It's obviously not tailored to
anything
benefit your animal, right?
If
it's meant to be for a whole bunch of different animals.
It's like saying this wash is really good for humans and elephants. You'd actually think that the product wasn't good enough for you. And that is exactly the same mentality we should start getting into for our dogs. Cat and feline wash, or a human and giraffe wash. Like, you'd be like, hang on a second, why are we washing giraffes with the same shampoo as myself? It does not make sense. And that is ridiculous.
It'd be quite funny, a commercial or something, like a giraffe and human.
You'd definitely be listening, wouldn't you? Be like, what?
So if you had to leave listeners with one big takeaway from today's chat about dog ingredients and what they should be looking out for, what would that be?
One tip I would love to offer your listeners is that when you do take your dog to the dog groomers, I would highly recommend asking them what they use. You're spending a lot of money for that service, and your dog is going to come back looking amazing. However, you really want to be making sure when you're outlaying so much money that you know what's going on to your dog's skin and into their fur or their coat. So it's actually really important when they're getting such a good clean and a thorough run over of the clippers. Don't be afraid to ask your groomer what they're using, and don't be afraid to ask what the ingredients is, because they are going to be going there quite regularly. Most people won't steer away from a groomer once they've picked one. So be really sure of what they're using.
Yeah, it's great advice. We don't actually go to a groomer, but maybe in the future. I guess, what typical breeds would go to groomers more so than others, do you think?
It's really interesting. So different suburbs actually have different dogs that are popular. So most dogs will go to the groomers at some point, especially if they've got longer hair, medium length to long hair. Just because I don't know if you've ever had a dog with longer hair or short or medium length hair.
I had a Labrador when I was growing up. It's still short hair, isn't it?
It just gets everywhere, and they just need to be cleaned up every now and then and have the clippers and everything done.
It can get tangled and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. So it's so much easier to palm that off to someone else, especially in summer.
Yeah. Where can people find out more about Hooper Ruff?
Okay, so you can head over to our website, so hooperruff.com.
Yep.
We're building a dog cult following on our Instagram and Facebook.
Which is how I found you.
Yeah, that's how I found you. I just was like, these books are amazing. They're so gorgeous. So Instagram is where our followers really are, and they can keep up to date with our journey and what we're doing, and see what other great products we have on the horizon.
Perfect. Well, I'll share both of those accounts in the show notes.
Yeah, perfect. Sounds
Thanks
great.
a lot for today, Millie. It was really great to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Cool.